Hello everyone, welcome back to this channel. Let's continue our course Intro to Programming. Okay, this is a course that is provided in Kaggle Learn. As of now, we have completed arithmetic and variables and functions. Today we are going to understand about data types. First, I will read the tutorial line by line and I will explain you the things. Then we will do the exercise. Okay. Now, whenever you create a variable in Python, it has a value with a corresponding data type. Whenever you are creating a variable you know how to create, you just have to give a name so that you can store it and you can reuse it later. So whenever you create, it must be a type of data. Sometimes it may be 4.3, sometimes it may be 4, or you may write hello Python. Whatever you write, whatever your data is, that belongs to a particular data type. That belongs to a particular type. Okay. Now in this lesson we will talk about those types. Let's read. There are many different data types such as integer, floats, boolean and strings. If you remember while we are studying function, there we come across that math.sil function where you used 4.3 to convert it into the integer. So whenever you are using 4.3, 3.5, 9.50 like these things, that means they are float. And when you have discrete number like 10, 11, 12, these are kind of integer. So there are different data types and we will study about them. Okay. Now here in this course, we will study about floats, boolean, strings, integer. We will learn. And these are the small subset of available data types. There are also other dictionaries like sets, lists, tuples. These are also different kind of data types used in Python. But they have said that they have not included in this chapter. First, we will learn about the basic data types. Okay. Now, data types are important because they determine what kind of actions you can do with them. For instance, you can divide two floats, but you cannot divide two strings. Suppose I want to divide Hello Python divided by I love Python. Is it possible? No, it's not possible. But if I want to divide 4 by 2, 12.0 by 2.5, those are possible. So that's why data types are important. Like what you want to do with them. For that, you have to keep it in mind that every data has its own type and every operations cannot be performed on any kind of data type. Okay, they are related somehow. Like cat slash dog, that is not possible. Exactly. Now to avoid errors, we need to make sure that actions match the data types that we have. Okay. So next is integer. The first data type we will study about integers, and most of the times we will come across with this data type. So integers are number without any fractional part. I said it is a discrete number like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, any number 80, 85, 90. It doesn't have that fractional part. It doesn't have that point. Okay. Negative numbers also like -1, -5, -15, 0 also. Okay. So positive number, negative number or 0. They belong to integers. They don't have that fraction part. Now see in the code cell below x is an integer because x equal to 14. Whenever you declare x equal to 14, automatically Python will understand that this is an integer because it is a discrete number. It doesn't have any fraction. It is a positive number without any fraction. So it is an integer. Now, how can we check that what is the data type? For that, we can use the type function. Same type function is written by the Python developers. You have not written about the type function. You have just called the function here to check the data type. It will show you the data type of X. So we have written type in the bracket. We have mentioned X. Okay. And it has been passed through print function. So if you run it, the output will be this is for this one 14 printed and this is for the data type class int. Okay. So in the output above, class int refers to integer data type. Next one is floats. Floats are number with fractional parts. So what is the difference between integer and float? Integer doesn't have the fractional part and float has the fractional part. And they can have many numbers after decimal. Like see, pi equal to 3.41459. You know that pi has this big value, so you can add any number. But it must have a fraction. It must have a point. Okay, so they have printed the type. See here, print type of the this variable. This is a variable where you have kept this fractional number. So it will say that this is a float. Okay. Now we can also specify a float with a fraction. If I write in this way, 22 divided by 7. then also Python will understand because it will divide and it will see that there is a fraction, so it will treat it as a float. Okay. Now, one function is particularly useful for fractions is the round function. This is also a built-in function. Built-in function means written by the Python developer. What it does, it lets you round a number to a specified number of decimal places. Like see, here almost pi equal to 22 by 7. So it will be a big number, 7.31415, whatever it is. Now you want only two decimal places after the point part. Okay, so for that you use round almost by comma 5. It means round is a function. You know round is a function, built-in function, and given parenthesis. Inside that you pass what? You pass the arguments, the inputs to the function. What are the inputs? The almost pi variable. What is almost underscore pi? That is 22 divided by 7. Now comma 5 means what round will do? Round will first calculate this, then it will consider 5 points after the 5 numbers after the point. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so up to 5. And after that, as it is 7, so what happens if the number is greater than 5? 5 will be 6. Okay, so that's why you will get 3.14286. 5 places, 5 decimal places, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And why it is 6? Because the next number is greater than 5. So round function is very useful while dealing with the fractions. If you write 2, then it will be 3.14. If you write 3, then it will be 3.142. Sorry, it will be 3.143 because the next number is 8 greater than 5. Okay. And if you use the type function, then it will show you that it is a float. Clear? Next, whenever you write a number with a decimal point, Python recognizes it as a float data type. Now, suppose if you write 1 point, if you write 1.0, 1.00, though it is 1, but as you have mentioned the point, Python will treat this as float. See, Python type is float because you have just written 1 point. 1 point means 1.0 means it is equal to 1. But as you have mentioned the point, this is a float. There is a fraction. Okay, next one is Boolean. Boolean means true or false. Like if it is 1 or it is 0. 0 is for false and 1 is for true. Okay. Now suppose I write z underscore 1 equal to true and now I print this. So true will be printed and what is the type? Now the type is bool. See here BOOL. That means it is a boolean value. So it has two values, true and false. Suppose you write false. Now if you print the type, this is a bool. Okay. Now, booleans are used to represent the true value of an expression. Like, see here, if I write 1 less than 2, what will be the output? What do you think? 1 less than 2, this is true, so the output is true. Now, if I print z underscore 3, see, it will print true value. Okay, and what is the type? Boolean. If I write 1 greater than 2, then output will be false. No, that is not correct. So, z underscore 3 will become false and that time the output will be false and the class will be bool. Clear? For this one, 5 less than 3, I have already said this will be false. Okay. Now we can switch the value of a boolean by using not. So not true is equivalent to false and not false becomes true. If I write not in front of true or false, then it will take the exact opposite. Like here, if I write z underscore 4, this is false. You can see this is false. But in front of that, I have used a keyword that is not. Now, when you apply this not, that means it will take the opposite one. So, false will become true. So, z underscore 5 will become true. Now, if you try to print this, it will be true. Okay, and the type is bool. So, you get these are the things you can do with boolean. Okay. Many more you will come across as you study. Next data type is string. String is a collection of characters that may be alphabet, punctuation, numerical digits or symbols and they are kept in quotation marks. Like if you have written hello, comma Python and you have kept them in quotation, you can see then it will be treated as a string. See hello Python, what is the class? String. str means string value. Okay. Even if you write 2 or 3 or 5, those are integer you think. But if you keep them in the quotation, then Python will treat them as a string because it can be anything alphabet, punctuation, numerical digit, symbol. Okay. But they are contained in quotation mark. Then only Python will treat them as a string data type. Okay. And here they have told you about len function. You see len of w. That means length of this variable. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So the output will be 14. Okay. Because it has included everyone like the space, the comma, the exclamation mark. Okay. Everything. That's why the output is 14. Okay. Quotations are not included while calculating the length. Okay. Quotations are not length. They are to tell that it is a string. Now, one special type of string is the empty string. See here, I have just given the quotation, but I have not written anything inside it. So this is also a string, but it is an empty string. So what will be the length? If you print the len function, if you call the len function and print it, then it will be 0. Okay, but the type is string. See here, the type is string. Okay. Now, if you put a number in the quotation mark, and this I have already told you, this will be treated as a string. Okay, though it is a float, right? But you have kept them in quotation mark, so Python will treat this as a string. But if we want, we can also convert this into integer or float. For that, we have to use float function, or we can use int function to convert them into an integer. Okay. Now, see, but that doesn't mean that you can convert hello Python to a float or integer because it is not possible. But in case of number, you can convert them into integer or float depending on your need. Okay, you see here, like my number here it is a string, but I have used the float function. I have passed the my number, then I am storing it into also underscore my underscore number. Now if I print it, so see that this is the output 1.12321, the same output. But when you check the type, then you can see that this was a string before, but now it has been converted to float because I have used the float function. It is used to convert it into a float. Okay. Now, just like you can add two numbers, you can also add two strings if it results in a longer string that combines the two original strings by concatenating them. See, one is ABC, one string is DEF. If I use the plus symbol, then it will just add them. How will it add? By concatenating them. See, A, B, C, D, E, F. So it is also possible in Python. But what is the type? The type is string. So string concatenation is also possible. Okay. But if you want to do the subtraction or division, then it is not possible. Na? You can think logically that what will be the output, then nothing will be output. Here we can understand that the strings will be added. Okay, you can also multiply. If you just write this one, ABC into 3, then what will happen? Then ABC will be printed 3 times. See, ABC, ABC, ABC. Okay, so this operator works and this one also works. But you can't apply subtraction or division. Okay. But see here, tell me why this is an error. ABC into 3 point. Then why it is an error? Because here 3 is not a 3 is not an integer. Instead, we have used 3 point. Whenever you use the point, the decimal point, that means this is a float. So you cannot add, multiply, or do anything with a string and with a float. So you cannot multiply it with a float. You can multiply with 3. That means that it will be printed 3 times, but you cannot multiply with float. Okay. So it will just give you a type error. Okay. Now in this error, the sequence is the string ABC and the non-int of type float is the float 3 point. So the error message will be rewarded to say can't multiply string by float, can't multiply sequence by float. Okay. Many types of error Python provides you so that you can debug. Like we read name error. You remember that if you make any typing mistake, then Python will tell you that name is not defined. That will generate a name error. Here type error because type conversion is not possible because it is sorry, because it is float, so you cannot just multiply it with float, so that's why it is saying type error. Okay, now write your code. Let's do the exercise. For this, you have to first set up the notebook. This one. Okay, now our job. Question 1. You have seen how to convert a float to an integer? With the int function, try it out by yourself. See, here they have given a float. Y equal to 1 point. That means it's a float. Now if you write print y, print type of y, what happens? See, y will be printed. So 1.0 printed. What is the type? Float, because you have point. Now you convert the float to integer by using int function. If you use int function, it will be converted to int. If you use float function, it will be converted to float. So here I have converted it into an integer. So z has become an integer. So what is now z holding? Now z is holding only 1. Okay, it has removed the point part. So now print z. So 1 is printed. Type is float. Suppose if I write 1.5, then tell me what will be the output here, what will be the value of z. Then z will become, see, z will become 1. Z will delete this point 0.5. The fraction part will be deleted. Z will take only the integer part, only the part just before the decimal point. Okay. Now in this case, the float you are using has no numbers after the decimal, but what happens when you try to convert a float with a fractional part to an integer? That's what we have just done, that it will be deleted. And how does the outcome of the int function change for positive and negative numbers? Use the next code cell to investigate this. They have given already here. So just delete this. If I try to print this one, what will be the output? You try to tell. It will be 1 because the next part will be deleted. Fine. If I delete this one, then what will be the output? Same. What about this one? There is a negative value. So it will be -3. What about the next one? It will be -2. Because integer can be anything, positive value, negative value, 0, but it will not hold the decimal part. So simply the decimal part, the fractional part will be deleted. All other things will remain same. Okay. So you have the answer here. Just check it. It's done. Now question 2. In the tutorial, you learned about booleans, true and false. In addition to integer, floats, string, boolean is also there. Now, what happens when you multiply a boolean of any of these data types? What happens when you multiply an integer or float by true? What happens if I multiply print 3 into true? What happens when you multiply them false? How does the answer change if they are if the numbers are positive or negative? What happens when you multiply a string by true or false? Okay, if I run it, you will be able to see the answer. See, because I told you what is the value of true. True means 1, so 3 into 1, so 3. Okay, minus 3.1 into 1, so minus 3.1. What is the ABC into false? Here false means false is 0. So you are multiplying something with 0, so it will become an empty string. So the type is class of string. Now what will be the length? It is a 0 0 string, empty string, so length is 0. See, this is 0. Okay. So once you have an answer, run the code cell to see the solution. Okay. See, when you multiply an integer or float, it will take true. It just returns the same integer or float because you are multiplying with 1. That's what I have said. But when you are multiplying with false, it will return 0. So both for positive, negative, and if you multiply it with the with a string, then it will remain same because you are multiplying it 1 with 1, and if you multiply it with false, then it will return an empty string because the string will be of length 0. Okay. Now next question. In this question, you will build up your work from the previous exercise to write a function that estimate the value of a house. Okay, fine. Get expected cost. You have to create this function. It will take three variables: bed, number of bedroom, number of bathroom, and whether it has basement or not. Depending on these three inputs, your price will vary. Okay. The expected cost for a house with 0 bedroom and 0 bathroom, no basement, base value 80,000, and every bedroom adds 30,000, every bathroom adds 10,000, and if there is a basement, then it will be 40,000. So you have to create a function which will take three inputs, and there are some conditions. Depending on them, the house price range will vary. Okay, let's see. Let's do this one. Okay, you can use the hint also. So the expected cost is First, you have to write the base value because it will be there, plus each bedroom into 30,000. So here the input is beds. So beds into 30,000. Fine. Now baths. Each bathroom adds 10,000. So baths into 10,000 plus has basement, has underscore basement into 40,000. Okay. So now if I run it, see. Okay. So that is how you can calculate the value. If you want, you can check the solution also. Okay, fine. Now we will continue our study of Boolean arithmetic. For this, your task is to provide a description of what happens when you add booleans. Tell me what will be the output. False, I have said you that this is 0. So 0 plus 0, the output will be 0. True plus false, let me run it then. Okay, now true plus false. Okay. True is 1, false is 0. So 1 plus 0, the output will be 1. Next one, false 0 plus true, 0 plus 1, so the output will be 1. True plus true, 1. This is also 1, so 1 plus 1, 2. This is 0 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. So 1 plus 1 plus 1, 3. This is 0, so it will be 3. Okay. Once you have an answer, run the code cell below to see the solution. Okay. Okay. Now question 5. You have a online shop, okay, where you sell rings and custom engravings. You offer both gold plated and solid gold rings. Gold plated rings have a base cost of $50 and you charge $7 per engraved unit. Okay, but solid gold rings have a base cost of $100 and you charge $10 per engraved unit. Okay, spaces and punctuations are counted as engraved units. Okay. Now write a function cost of the project. So cost of project is the function name. It takes two argument. One is engraving, another one is solid gold. Okay. Now it should return the cost of the project. The question should be fairly challenging and you may need a hint. Okay, then take a hint. Let's see. Here are two options. Either it uses solid gold or does not. So with this in mind, you can structure your solution like this. Solid gold, if it uses solid gold, then solid gold into, you are taking it as an input to the function. So solid gold into whatever the value. What is the value for solid gold? $100. Base cost $100 and $10 per engraved unit. Okay. Now if not, if it is not solid gold, then for that option into which one? Gold plated ring. So base cost $50 and you charge $7. Now you need to figure out how to fill the blanks. Okay. If solid gold equal to true, then not solid gold equal to false. So this part will automatically become 0 that time, right? And if solid gold equal to false, when this is false, so this part will automatically become 0. So you will only treat the not solid gold part, that is gold plated part. Okay. So multiply an integer by true is equivalent to multiply it by 1. And multiply an integer by false is equivalent to multiplying it by 0. Okay, that we have already understood. So what we will write here right now, cost equal to, first it will be solid underscore gold into, you have to use the base price 100 plus what was the per unit, $10. So 10 into engravings, length of engravings. Okay, now plus not solid gold, so I will use not keyword, then solid gold. Not will make true false, false true, it will just make the opposite. Okay, now into, sorry, not solid gold, into, here the base price is 50 plus $7 into length of engravings. improving, not S. Okay, now let me run this. You can find the cost in this way. Okay. Now run the next code to calculate the cost of engraving Charlie plus Denver on a solid group ring. Cost of project. There I am sending the engravings length Charlie and Denver. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay. And this is true. That means it is going for solid gold. Solid gold means this one. This one will become 1 to 1. So this one will uh, be calculated and this part will be 0. So this part will be ignored. So 1 into 100 plus 10 into length of engravings. Length of engravings was 13, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 exactly. 13. So 13 into 10, 130. 130 plus 100, 230. So the answer will be 230. Why 240? Oh, sorry, plus is ignored. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so it will be 14 into 10, 140 plus 100. So it will be 240. Okay, so you understand how it is working. Now this one, project 2 equal to cost of project. To calculate the cost of engravings of this. I want to engrave this one. So what is the length here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And here I am giving the false. Here I am giving false means this part will be 0. This is false. So this is 0. So this part will be 0. So this part will be deleted. I'm using not solid gold, gold plated. This will become 1. Not of 0. That means 1. So this one will be calculated. So what will be the value? Again, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it will be 10. So 10 into 7, 70. 70 plus 50. 70 plus 50 means 120. Let's see the answer. Okay. So I hope you have understood the things. Okay. So this was a small topic. Uh, Data types. You can work with integer without fraction, float with fraction, boolean, yes or no, true or false, 0 or 1, and strings. That means that is a text. Okay. You can convert string to float or string to integer also. Depends. Okay. So these are the things we have done for now. So happy learning. Meet in our next video. Till then, bye.